All right, some latest news coming in. ISRO's Aditya mission on the September 2nd. The launch of Aditya L1, the first Indian space-based Indian observatory to study the sun, is scheduled for the 2nd of September 2023 at 11:50 a.m. from Sriharikota. It will be the first space-based Indian mission to study the sun. The spacecraft shall be placed in a halo orbit around the Lagrange point L1 of the Sun Earth system. The information that I'm giving you is from the website of the Indian Space Research Organization. And a satellite placed in the halo or orbit around the L1 point has the major advantage of continuously viewing the sun without any occultation or any kind of eclipses. This will provide a greater advantage observing the solar activities and its effect on space, whether in real time. My colleague Ritu with us on the broadcast to give us more details. Ritu, tell us about this mission.
Well, so after moon, it is the time for the sun for ISRO. In fact, so now what we are seeing that the ISRO has tweeted this, making it very official about the launch of the Aditya L1, and also confirming the date as well. Because remember, the ISRO earlier had told that it would be in the first week of the September, but now the ISRO says that the launch will be on the 2nd September. In fact, now the Aditya L1 is the mission. In fact, it's the first mission of the ISRO to study the sun. So the satellite shall be placed in the halo orbit around the Lagrange point 1 is what we are given to understand of the Sun-Earth system. In fact, see, this is very interesting even more because this is going to be about 1.5 million kilometer journey of this particular, the mission, in fact, from the Earth. And it will also take around 120 days to reach the designated place. So yes, after moon, it is the sun for ISRO now.
ISRO now, as my colleague Ritu is pointing out. For how long has ISRO been working on this mission, Ritu? And what exactly are the expectations from it?
One thing you see, with this mission, the ISRO will be able to study the surface of the moon, various elements again there as well will be studied by the ISRO, which we will have to wait for some more time in specifically that what exactly the ISRO is expecting through this mission. But remember, the chairman of the ISRO, S. Somnath, in fact, just last week when the ISRO soft landing was, the Chandrayaan-3 soft landing was achieved on the moon's south pole, that's when the ISRO chairman confirmed it, saying that this, in fact, it has already moved to the Sriharikota, and there the launch will take place, and this will be completely to study the surface of the sun. This, in fact, was a long time plan of the ISRO as well. The ISRO was working on this for a couple of years now. So yes, this is yet another big mission of the ISRO.
My colleague Shrishti is also with us on the broadcast. Shrishti tracks the space sector for us, and she'll give us more details about this one. Shrishti, how ambitious is this program? Is it a first of its kind program for the ISRO, or they have done something before like this before? What are the examples across the world for exploring the sun or its orbit?
Right. So different countries have been exploring the sun. NASA has carried out missions in the past. But for India, this will be the first of its kind mission. So we are planning to send a spacecraft and place it at a point called L1, which is at a distance between the sun and the Earth, and it will have a lot of payloads on it. But the most important part of this mission is that we have a 90 kg payload called the Visible Line Emission Coronagraph that has been created, that has been worked upon by scientists from the Indian Institute of Astrophysics. And they have been working on this payload for about 15 years now. It's a very complex payload and took a lot of hard work from the scientists to integrate all these complex, elements into it. So the objective is to basically understand the heating of the sun's outer layer. The viewers must understand that there is a large temperature difference between the core of the sun and the outer layer of the sun, and scientists are really intrigued about it, and they really want to understand it. Apart from that, there are certain flares which keep coming out of the sun and have a potential of probably having some impact on the spacecraft which are orbiting in the space. So and we can't really predict them. So scientists are really keen to understand if they can figure out a way to predict these solar flares. So all these are different objectives of the entire mission, and finally it is on track, and we'll see the rocket lifting off from Sriharikota on 2nd September.
Let me cut across to my colleague Poonam as well. She's joining us from the newsroom. Poonam also has some updates. Yes, Poonam, please tell us.
Right, this is the tweet that has been put out by ISRO, not only confirming the date and the time of when this launch is going to happen, but also why it's extremely unique. So I just want to quickly take our viewers through that. And this is, like Shrishti was also pointing out, the major objectives, of course, she's outlined for us. But here's what makes Aditya L1 extremely unique. And this is what ISRO has now been putting out. It's the first time that a spatially resolved solar disk is going to be in the near UV band. What we are going to be seeing is that the CME dynamics that are going to be close to the solar disk, thereby providing information in the acceleration regime. It's not something that is usually observed, is what ISRO then goes on to say. They're also talking about why this is unique. It says that the directional and energy antistrophy of the solar wind using multi-direction observations is something that has never been done before, and that is what ISRO aims to do with this particular mission. Remember, right after the success of Chandrayaan 3, the chairman of ISRO, Mr. Somnath, had spoken to us here, and he had told us that this is all on track. It's already at Sriharikota. Just the time and date has to be decided, and that has now been released.
Poonam, with that tweet that ISRO has put out. I want to once again go back to Shrishti, who is with us on the broadcast. Shrishti, to explore the mysteries of the universe, to understand the sun, its orbit, and various things that comprise our universe has been the quest of the modern day scientists. You spoke about the NASA's mission. This is the first of its kind mission for India. What are the expectations that ISRO scientists have?
Definitely a lot of expectations. So we started our journey for interplanetary missions back in 2008 with Chandrayaan 1, when we launched a spacecraft and placed a orbiter there. And 2019 we went to Mars, and then again another attempt at Chandrayaan. So this
Shrishti, I'm very sorry to interrupt you there. Dr. G. Raju, who's the former director of ISRO, is joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Raju, good afternoon. Thank you for speaking with us. Aditya L1, a very ambitious project from ISRO. What are your expectations and how big of a leap would it be for us?
Yes, see, this Aditya L1 mission is a very important mission for studying the solar storm, solar winds. Solar winds are very crucial for both for communication and emotion, particularly communication. We have not understood much about solar winds. Therefore, we are going to a place called Aditya L1, where L1 means the Lagrange point, from where we can look at the sun without any interruptions of eclipses or anything. So L1 is about 1.5 million kilometers, and we'll have a constant view of the sun. We'll have a constant view of the sun to study the basic activities. To my knowledge, the main focus is on studying the solar wind. Okay, this is one of the important things that's being done by the Aditya L1 mission.
Sir, my colleague who covers the space sector was just pointing out that certain other missions from across the world, say for example NASA has attempted something similar. To what extent do we understand sun and its orbit? And as far as India is concerned, sir.
Hello, can you please repeat the question?
So my question is, as far as India is concerned, what kind of path would Aditya L1 chalk out for the future expeditions? Because after Chandrayaan 3, all of us are very hopeful and ambitious that we'd be able to carry out far more projects, with much more ease and far more enthusiasm. Dr. Raju, am I audible to you? All right, we'll connect with Dr. G. Raju, but that was Dr. G. Raju who was pointing out that this mission is exceptionally important for India, keeping in mind that this is the first of its kind mission which is being attempted by India. Something similar has been done by NASA, but as far as countries like India are concerned, this is the first of such mission. Space expedition is an expensive pursuit, and for developing nations like India with limited budgets, this can be a challenge, but a challenge that has been taken